Yeah, 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 yeah.
I found it on Rhema Radio.
This is Rhema Radio, and you're listening to Sheila Singham. With me, the officials from Shelter. We've got GP Joseph, the Senior Manager, and Elaine Surin, Assistant PR Manager, here to share with us and give us insight into Shelter and its good works. Shelter over the years has brought a lot of light and love into the lives of many young children and given them the start in life that they never really had. And today, many of these young men and women have gone on to become successful in their own right. So let's start at the very beginning, yeah? Elaine and Joseph, can you tell us a little bit more about Shelter? You know, it's been around for quite a while now. Just share with us the vision and mission of the organization and the values that guide its operations. Joseph?
Yes. Shelter Home for Children helps children who have been abused, abandoned and neglected. In a way, we rescue children, we restore them and then reunite with their families. That is our speciality with the children who have been abused and neglected.
Right. And what is the vision and mission of the organization and, you know, the values upon which it runs and operates?
The main focus is that we want them to be reunited with the families. Unlike the other homes, we take in and then, we care. But we want to reunite back with the family. That is our main focus.
So when you say reunite them, you mentioned earlier that some of them are abused children. Yes. Now, if for example, the source of the abuse has been in the home itself, how do you then justify reuniting them, putting them back into an environment which caused their pain in the first place?
In such cases, we will find foster family for them. We have done that in many occasions, and children are growing well. Be nurtured, and they are successful too, now.
So a big part of the operations is also finding foster families for those children who actually safely cannot be returned into the fold of their own families. Now, Elaine, Shelter has been around for more than 3 decades now. Mm-hmm. Coming up to almost 4 decades. Yeah. How has it evolved, and what sets it apart from other children's homes in Malaysia?
The thing is, through the years, we've actually evolved, okay? Years ago, we used to actually run kindergartens in squatter areas, okay, to help the children with education, provide education for them, because in squatter areas, most parents don't even look into maybe children's education at such a young
Proper
age.
schools.
Yes, yeah. So, but currently, we've stopped that because even the squatter area has actually evolved. Okay, and what sets us apart, I think, our approach basically into the looking into the care of the children, because our approach to the children that come into our homes. We have 3 homes, by the way, Sheila. We have Home 1, which actually caters to the children who are girls and boys who are 4 and 12. We have the teenage girls' homes, and that is girls who are 13 to 18. We have the teenage boys' home, which caters to boys who are 13 to 18. Now, our approach with the children in our homes is that we look into the holistic area of the well-being of the children. So we want to see that they're healed emotionally, mentally, physically, okay? And what sets us apart, I would say, is that another avenue would be we actually look into having counselors, okay, in-house that work with the children. We hope to have a counselor each for every home, actually, but we also send our children out to professional therapists who actually work with the children as well to see that they are healed. And the journey can take time, okay? And we also have animal therapy in our homes as opposed to just having a pet in the home. But we've found that with animal therapy, the children who are withdrawn or maybe quiet have actually taken a kin to the animals. Okay, and this has caused them to open up, and it's easier for us to sort of reach out to them, because trying to understand where the children are, it's hard for children who have been hurt so terribly to begin to trust adults once again. Okay, because sometimes the hurt and the abuse or the trauma could have come from their own family or, people who are dear to them. But it's a process, and for every one of us that actually works in shelter, it is for us to try and bring ourselves down to the level of the children and to just open ourselves up to just love them, as they are.
So it's actually a very individual approach for each child's
yes,
needs.
Definitely.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Definitely, because everyone's made different, okay? And you can't use one approach for all the children. It will not work. It simply won't, yeah.
Now, I'm sure over the years, I believe the shelter was set up in 1981.
Yes.
Right. So it's been, 36 years now. I'm sure you've got lots of stories to tell you. You have lots of stories about the challenges that has faced the organization and then also the success stories.
Okay.
Maybe you could share with us some of those. Maybe we'll start with the challenges and then we'll go on to the lovely stories.
Challenges. Joseph? Challenges we all do have.
36 years, me and Elaine weren't here.
Yes.
Okay, we joined just lately, but the story which we heard, the journey which this organization have gone through is tremendous. Unlike other places, as Elaine put it, here we try to have a holistic approach. That is the reason each home we divide according to the age, and also each home has its own manager and a staff team. So they will look into the specific needs of the child, and we keep the numbers small, so it's easier. We have even became a voice for the children shelter per se, where the founders have been called to address national issues. Even when Queen Elizabeth visited 98, she came and visited this home, bless the children. So the journey is a long process. Challenges have gone through. Even if I were to say challenges, 8 years ago when the key people and the founders, they left for other opportunities, God miraculously brought in another man who was full of passion. In fact, he totally have no knowledge about children's work or even social work per se. But God brought him at the right time where it revived the ministry and then led us through the last 8 years. Now, even though he moved on, but crucial time he came in to guide this organization. So during that time, many left, even the children, we as Elaine was telling, even the kindergartens, we slow down. But now we are reviving and then restoring. We're bringing in professional people with qualifications, addressing the needs, not only affected children, but we also go more to the community, starting new works so that we can prevent certain problems from occurring. So that is what we are doing now.
So it's just prevention as well as a cure.
We focus more now on preventive works.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, obviously, in the midst of challenges, always God will provide a way out and a way forward and upwards, yeah? We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to hear more about shelter and the lovely success stories that of young children who've moved on from strength to strength as a result of this ministry.
Rhema Radio.
Hi, so if you're out there and you're looking for a mentor, or you are a mentee or mentor looking to mentee someone, Open Minds is actually launching a new product called Open Space. And basically, this is a mentor and mentee pairing platform on your mobile app, and you can download it at the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. And if you want to find out more information about this, you can log on to www.theopenspace.my.
This is Solipian from FGAKL. My warmest wishes and greetings to you for this coming Christmas season, and especially for each and every one of you to have a meaningful and blessed Christmas full of the experience and the reality of the goodness of God, that you will use this time for the furtherance of His kingdom. Amen.
To all Rhema Radio listeners, this is Joanne here from First Baptist Church, wishing all of you a very blessed and meaningful Christmas.
Halo teman-teman semua, nama saya Melisa Berliana Setiawan dari HFC Worship Surabaya. Saya mau mengucapkan Merry Christmas and Happy New Year buat semua pendengar Rhema. Biarlah kasih Natal, kasih Kristus bisa kita rasakan untuk semuanya. God bless you.
You're listening to Rhema Radio, and with us today we have Elaine Surin, the PR manager of Shelter, and GP Joseph, the senior manager, to speak to us about Shelter and its operations. Earlier on, we listened to some of the challenges facing Shelter over the years. Elaine, perhaps you could tell us some of the success stories, with regard to the children who have passed through Shelter's portals.
There are many success stories to share, actually, Sheila. There are also stories which are sad stories as well. Okay, but some of them, key ones that I can think of is if you go to our webpage, shelterhome.org, okay, that has actually been designed, okay, it's been programmed by one of our boys. His name is David. And many professionals who have actually seen our webpage are actually pretty impressed with David's work. It is really, really good. We also have people who have actually become their own businessman or businesswoman, one of which is actually a girl that actually runs her own beauty studio right now that does hairstyling and makeup. She's doing really well. We have a bank manager. Okay, even currently right now, a younger one, I would say, started out as a waiter in F&B in one of the hotels, and currently he's actually on a cruise ship around the world, in the States particularly. Okay, but he's traveled a fair bit around the world on cruise ships as well. He's actually working there.
And he sends you postcards.
Oh, he keeps us posted. And that's inspired some of our current children actually to consider actually going into the line of F&B or hotel, okay, because they see what this particular boy has done, and they are obviously excited about the prospects of traveling.
Yeah, that's good. That's great to know.
Really,
that's great to know.
It's really wonderful, actually.
So, aside from having the 3 homes where you actually shelter, nurture, build up, restore these children, educate them, and make them ready to actually go out there and cope with the real world, what are some of Shelter's other activities?
We're also involved in community work where we actually go to the poorer community. Okay, it could be slums area, it could be a squatter slum, it could be low-cost flats where parents are basically struggling with even bringing up their children or providing for their children, I would say. So how we come into the picture is that we look out to see if we can help them even with maybe providing groceries, providing financial aid. At times, if the parents are struggling even to find a job, we look into that for them, or maybe try and find better jobs for the parents so that they can then provide for their children. We're also involved with refugee work, okay, and we have 4 refugee schools, community schools under our care. So in this respect, we also help with financial aid, food aid, so that when the children go to school, they at least get 1 hot meal a day, and they cared for in that way, and they've got education even while they wait to be sent off to another country.
Great. So that's been really keeping you busy, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, where does Shelter get its resources from? Obviously, when you are, extending yourself into the community and so on, you will need resources in terms of manpower as well as funding. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Funding is something that we definitely need. We can't do without. In fact, we need more than 100K per month to actually commit to all the people that we've committed to, all the children that we've committed to, actually. And funding actually comes through individuals. It can be individuals who could be even housewives. We've got people that actually put in, let's say, even a small donation, like, for example, 10 ringgit is not too small. It goes a long way. Okay, we have some corporates that do come by to actually give us a check. We also have people that, for example, just walk into the home sometimes to actually provide financial aid, or maybe even come alongside to even provide groceries. There's always a need. Yeah.
But in terms of the people who actually carry out the activities as well, are they staff on salaried staff, or do you work with volunteers? What's the percentage, for example?
Currently, we have 27 staff. Okay. Of which we have a group of us that actually work in HQ itself, okay? And then, of course, in the home setting, we actually have caregivers who are actually on 24-hour rotation to make sure that the children are cared for. Yeah, so that's actually a need for staff. People that actually would have the heart for children and wanting to journey with them, to actually see them get a breakthrough in life. There's always a need for that in the homes. We also are always on the lookout for volunteers to actually come forward, to just come and partner. It can be something as simple as I can come into the homes maybe for 4 or 5 hours a day and help even with the laundry and fold clothes, or maybe cook a meal. And that would go a long way, actually, with helping the staff in the home, actually, the caregivers in the home with the children.
Right. We take a short break, and when we come back, we'll find out more about Shelter's plans for the future. You're listening to Rhema Radio.
Rhema Radio.
Hello, this is Pastor Manto wishing everyone from Rhema Radio and all our brothers and sisters in Christ a very happy and blessed 2018. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from FBC, and I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Ru from the UMC Dream Center. This Christmas, may you have a great time filled with love, peace, joy, and hope. God bless and Merry Christmas.
We're listening to Elaine Surin and GP Joseph from Shelter. Earlier on, you had spoken about volunteers and how people can come in and assist. I have a question. For young people who are interested to volunteer, do you offer internship programs?
Yes, we do.
So how does a young person apply?
They apply through our email. Okay. The thing is, working with the children, for me, I say it needed to be a long-term commitment because these are broken children, as Elaine pointed out earlier. Sometimes it's difficult to trust adults because the abusers were adults always, most of the times. So we need to build relationship. In order to do that, you have to walk with them until you win their heart. Coming short term is very difficult. Okay, the children are unable to trust you or even able to connect with you. But we do take in short-term volunteers, okay, but it is not directly involved with the children, but we have other works, okay, whether in the office, PR, other activities, or even playing with the children, okay, those kind of things we do allow, but not directly building relationship with the children for short-term volunteers.
When you say you want looking at some long-term volunteers, on a sustainable basis, what sort of time period are we talking about?
We started a program 2 years ago called PAL. Okay, it's Preparing for Adult Living. This program needs minimum 2 years contract. Minimum 2 years for commitment. You can call it as a mentoring program, but we call it as a big brother, big sister kind of things, where they teach them living skills. They teach them how to, even like when you leave this home, how to look for a room, how to look for by car. Even just yesterday, one of our ex-boy, bought a motorbike. Okay, but the journey, we prepared, and then it was interesting. It's another story I would share, but it's very interesting. So we prepare them for such time that they could live independently. We have 27 staff and we have 45 children at this moment. We can't do alone. This is where we need volunteers to walk with them, journey with them, to teach them, to nurture them. And long term, at least 2 year commitment for these sort of programs. Minimum is 6 months. we do take in for specific works.
Okay. What is Shelter's vision for the future? We've come a long way from a single home that was started up to just help some underprivileged children in one part of town. And today there are 3 homes, there's community work and so much that's going on. Where is Shelter going with the future?
Currently, actually, our latest project is something that we have submitted to authorities already for their approval. And what we hope to do is actually go into a particular community where there are juveniles, who are delinquent in many areas, and what we hope to do is bring change into that community, so that's in the pipeline, where it's not just for example, solving a problem, per se, as when the problem has happened, but actually go into the root cause, the areas where, children are already straying away from, a better life, and getting themselves involved in crime and activities which can go from things from as simple as, for example, breaking an entry, shoplifting, snatch thieves, things like that. So we want to go right into this particular community and work with children like that.
So it's addressing the root cause rather than just the symptoms.
That's right.
That's great. It's great to hear, what Shelter has achieved so far. On a slightly personal level, can you maybe just share with us about your part in this, how you feel God has put you into this place, this ministry, and what sense of fulfillment or what are you deriving from doing God's work?
I would say God has called me. I'm sure he's called me and he's prepared me along the way, because prior to coming into Shelter, I was actually going into homes of, people who are actually poor, people who are struggling even with their children. And you could see where, absentee parents, involved, and, understanding where they're at. Or for example, even when you hear, for example, the language that these children speak, and to us, for example, normally, you wouldn't be able to understand why are they using vulgar words, for example, why are they rude when they talk. But going into an environment like that, you begin to see for yourself what they are actually going through on an individual basis, and it causes you to feel for them. Okay, and now coming into Shelter and seeing the children that have been brought out of an environment like that, it causes you to be so thankful that they're no longer at risk. They're no longer being abused, And, when you try to, for example, we can have compassion for them, but we'll never actually know the trauma they went through, the pain and agony they went through. But just seeing a child smile, one of the children smile, or one of them just come up to you and go, and they tease you, at times. And that just tickles me and causes me to laugh. And I said, this child has come a long way, from someone that, would not be able to even open up to adults. Now they can actually come up and tease you. Or, for example, there was one day Joseph and I were traveling in the bus, in a school bus, actually, with the kids for an event. And they would come up to, Joseph, and sit on the last particular row, and they are so chummy. They will come up for hugs and things like that, Or, for example, when you come into the home and you're about to go back, and the child comes to just hug you, and say, well, bye, auntie, when you're coming again, It's things like that that actually just draws you, because you know that they are now able to receive love and to give love. And that's hope for me. That causes me to see that, when they leave Shelter, there is a future,
Great, Elaine. What about you, Joseph?
I am in this work because of a child. Made an impact in my life, and I made a decision in the last 14 years working with the children. As I look back the 14 years, I've done other things before joining the children's ministry. As I look back, I can bravely say this is the ministry God wants me to do for a long time, because as I connect with them, as I correct them, and then as I nurture them, I see changes, okay, in the children's life. And that brings lots of fulfillment in me, and I can be very sure this is God's leading. It is not, as I said, I've done other things, which I also like to do those things, but here I find fulfillment. I'm not so good as Elaine kind, I'm in the home, I'm like a disciplinarian, all right? But as I journey through, it's always fun with them, because of course certain things need to be disciplined, we do that. But none of the children, I would say, keeping grudges or what, because I show them who I am, and they, being who they are, we able to walk the journey. And this brings lots of fulfillment. And daily my prayer is, to God, give me the grace that I can, share it with them. And it's a learning process always.
And that's a learning in there for all of us, I think, yeah? That sometimes when God calls you into a ministry, and you might think, oh, that's tough, and I don't know if that's the place for me. But when you heed God's call, He will equip you with everything that you need to take on the challenges of the ministry. And the fulfillment you're going to get from it is like nothing else. Thank you very much, Elaine Surin and GP Joseph from Shelter, who've been with us today to share with us about the organization, its aspirations, its operations, and its vision for the future. If you want to know more about Shelter, you could get onto their website at www.shelterhome.org or facebook.com/shelterhomemy. This is Sheila Singham. You've been listening to Rhema Radio.
Walking through this crowded street, your people are laughing with no sign of tears, happiness and cheer. I guess it's just that time of year.
A year's gone by in a blink of an eye, just like a shooting star across the night sky.
Been the one thing on my mind, forever you and I.
As the lights light up the skyline,
You've got me on my knees, pray you're the one for
there's
me.
no room for goodbye.
I'm not gonna be alone this holiday.
Wish you were home tonight, and you were by my side. I've been so lost without you.
So lost without you. Oh.
Wish you were home tonight, and you'd be by my side.
'Cause all I really want is you.
All I really want is you. This year's Christmas ain't Christmas without you. You've got a way to make me smile.
The way you make me feel, you make me feel alive.
Inside, nothing can replace you, even if I tried.
Not even the strongest of ties say that you're coming home tonight.
Please say that you're coming home tonight. I wish you were home tonight, and you were by my side. I've been so lost without you.
So lost without you. Oh.
I wish you were home tonight, and you'd be by my side.
'Cause all I really want is you.
All I really want is you. This year's Christmas ain't Christmas without you.
It's not the same without you. I want you here. I need you here tonight.
It's not the same without you. I want you here. I need you here tonight. Tonight.
Dear listeners, we just celebrated our first anniversary. Thank you for being with us the past 1 year. We hope you enjoy journeying with us in 2018 and beyond. This segment features music by An Honest Mistake. Today's episode is recorded at Prodeo Studio and mixed by Veronica Ng. Stream or download new episodes weekly on Friday evening. Like us on Facebook to find out the latest from Rhema Radio. Leave us a message and let us know what you'd like to hear in our coming episodes. You don't want to miss Pastor Fergus Ong's sermon. So, you want to know the will of God. Shared at Sidang Injil Borneo, Kuala Lumpur in the next segment.
Rhema Radio is a non-profit initiative by the Love Malaysia Media Project. Time, talent and treasure is put into creating the content you listen to. Your support enables us to keep this going and expand further. Log on to www.rhemarad.io/support to find out how you can partner with us in creating value-adding content that ministers to the masses. Once again, that's www.rhemarad.io/support. Let's get the word out there.
You're listening to Rhema Radio.